Feels bad, man. But hey, it's all fixed, and we fixed it in the first series, so no more technical issues today, right?
Wind Ranger at your service.
Don't worry, we'll get
Right?
plenty enough. I'm a king of technical issues.
Okay, this is pretty quick. We have a Visage and Beastmaster first ban, and Ench and Mercy for South team. No huge surprises there, aside from, I guess, Puck still being in the pool. Of course, probably the best mid laner right now. And we have South team, they pick up the Tiny and the Lycan. They have played quite a bit of Tiny already in both position 1, 3 and 4. So I guess it is a true flex pick for them. However, they have only played Lycan in position 3, so I think it's quite likely that we get to see that this game.
Yeah, you can also see Gorilla's Pride first 2 bans. Visage, Beastmaster. So you kind of... that was also what we were discussing during the Noping match. Where it was... You pretty much have 3 offlane heroes that are very cheesy, Zoob heavy. You have to choose if you're playing against South Team. Either you ban 2 and you pick the 3rd, or you go for a try and play against the lesser of 3 evils kind of situation. In this case, you're going to give them the Hermit Lycan. If it's a tiny safe lane, you know, he's going to get bitten. It's going to get very wild. It's going to get very nasty.
It is Dire's
I do like to see it, though.
Some nice OG TI strats.
turn to ban.
Hey, if it works, it works. But that's why they went for the Underlord so early on in the draft, which you rarely get to see. Because it's just a straight up hard counter with the nasty root. Also needs a Gleipnir, of course, but that's going to be pretty tough. You know, keep the buildings alive, defend is reasonable against Lycan. Tiny just chops right through it.
Yeah, I quite like this pick actually. It's quite good against Lycan in lane, because you're like a really tanky strength hero that can just walk up to him and punch. And then in the mid game you have an ulti that like completely shuts down Lycan for, I don't know, like 3 seconds. And all of his creeps as well, which is quite a big deal. Because Lycan doesn't really like buying BKB. And even if he does, he cannot preemptively pop it, so he's very vulnerable to stuns and roots.
Yeah, it is kind of a little bit of a rougher aspect, but that's kind of what Gorilla's Pride are trying to do, block this Lycan. However, if you focus too much on the Lycan, there are other heroes that can come to play. Rubik is, well, there's some pretty nice steals, not like a superb, like Black Hole kind of steal, but Underlord's Firestorm's pretty okay. The Wind Ranger Shackle Shot's almost one of the best at the moment that you can gain. Well, Trian's just annoying. His spells are like, yoink. Maybe his overgrowth.
Yeah. You have these heroes that have really big ultis to steal, that are of course very flashy, but heroes like Wind Ranger and Underlord, they're just so reliable. No matter what you steal, it's gonna be good. It's not like an Earth Spirit where everything is bad.
Earth Spirit steals are amazing.
Sure.
You can kick people away with massive cast range. I guess, which is like fun. But yeah, for the most part, it does mean that you have to be careful of what other like last 2 picks you're gonna go for. You can't go for the big ultis, or you can, but you have to be very risky if you like want to pick a Magnus or a Tide Hunter, because most of the time he's just gonna yoink away those spells.
So now we see Grimstroke being banned and Invoker 2 and Undying. So I guess South team is most likely going to pick up their position 5 now. It's gonna be the Wyvern. Interesting.
Would have thought it would be picked up by Gorilla's Pride, actually. To deal with the Lycan, that is.
Would have been pretty okay for them. I don't see a lot of obvious synergies with South team just yet. But it does block a few carry options for G Pride. Like, you don't want to pick a TB or an Ursa into a Wyvern. It's gonna have to be a bit more of a hybrid carry, I guess.
And even like a Juggernaut needs to be careful with the spin TP. Okay, they're gonna go for the Ursa and just completely ignore what we said. To be fair, Ursa's probably one of the better cores. If he, like, because his auto attack damage is not necessarily that high. If you want to just put him into like a Winter Scourge situation, plus Underlord's super hard to kill for an Ursa, Treant's hard to kill for an Ursa, Wind Ranger if she's got the Wind Run is hard to kill. It's not bad, to be fair, and you can't really get cursed as an Ursa because you always have that threat of enraging.
Yeah, I guess the important thing for G Pride is now that they pick another hero that's gonna be like an actual scaling threat. Because if you just have a farmed Ursa and you're playing against Rubik Wyvern, you're never gonna be able to get a hit in. So it can work, and they probably picked it because it lanes really well against Lycan. But they have to make sure that they fix like that gap in their draft right now. Because you can't play a solo melee carry against Wyvern.
Radiant's turn to ban.
Definitely a little bit more threatening in that regard. He does have nice like ways of locking them down with the Wind Range, Shackle Shot, Underlord, Pit of Malice, and the Treant Overgrowth. So they have multitude of ways to keep them locked out. But of course, you know, you mentioned it, Rubik, Tiny even, the Lycan. You're gonna need to bring your A game for the Ursa to be able to stay on top of them. Because Rubik gets the shard, yeets his allies away. Tiny, well, obviously yeets his allies away, and Wyvern will just cold embrace anyone who would still be left behind.
Dyer's turn to pick.
So let's see. South Pride, they still... South Pride, jeez. South team, they have their offlaner. They have their carry, I guess, in the Tiny.
Or it could still be a mid Tiny.
10 seconds.
I don't think I've seen James play Tiny yet, but I mean, they played it in 3 positions already. Why not 4? Could be the mid Tiny, yeah, for sure. But they do have the last pick, so I guess they have... No, they don't even... Jeez, what is up with me today? They don't have last pick. I'm always a bit confused by the little picking indicators. Because the one for South team is lower than the one for G Pride, but it's pointing up. So it's like, I don't know. I don't even know. It's confusing. They go for a Coddle. That's gonna be the mid. It's gonna be carry Tiny.
Okay, yeah. Coddle, mid. It's... doesn't really have that many problems. Not many mid laners can really beat him. Considering he just farms, if he has a bad lane, he just heads into the jungle and farms. You could try and go for like some filthiness and just pick up a Huskar or some weird shenanigans on the side of Gorilla's Pride. Or an Ember. I think Ember is still available. Ember would not be too shabby. More roots.
I don't think Huskar is great against Coddle. But they do have some options here. Like you mentioned, Ember still in the pool. Void Spirit did get banned, so it's a very good
and
ban
the
there.
as well, that you mentioned previously.
What other scaling heroes are there for mid? They could go for Pungo, I guess. They go for Lesh, okay.
That's a slightly different one than I expected, but can't cold embrace someone alive. It has massive amounts of push. The only thing that, and it's really good, of course, against the creep army. The only thing that I'm always very fearful of, that I despise, is if Leshrac mids don't pick up a shard at a reasonable timing. I still think, and I will forever think, that that shard is ridiculously strong.
You think they should pick it up in like any game, or is there a specific circumstance?
Kind of any game, because maybe if you're up against like the most mobile heroes ever, you don't. But if you're gonna push high ground, you kind of need it. If you're gonna defend high ground, you kind of need it. So you pretty much need it in every game.
Yeah, I feel like that is the key. Just having it for area denial is very nice. But if it's like a skirmishy kind of game where you just farm, it's kind of wasted gold. But you want to make sure that you at least have it for the high ground defense.
Or
And
Roche.
ideally you get it off Roche, which is just great. But I feel like every single hero has that, where they're like, ideally, I want to have the shard from Roche. But then you need to share with your team and coordinate. Gross.
Yeah. Kind of. I still think that it's, like, I've seen a lot of games where it's a 50-minute game and I see a Lishrak still running around without a shard, and I'm like, come on! Get the shard, please! Especially if you get, like, a game where, in this situation, they've got Pit of Malice, they've got Overgrowth. This is 100% a shard game. Nonetheless, looking at these two drafts, what's your prediction? Where are you heading towards Wingblade?
I'm really not a fan of the Ursa pick, but I do like the Lesh. Let's see, who has the most stuns? I guess Treant has one. We'll count it as one. Underlord doesn't have any. Okay, Lesh and Windranger do have one, so that's 3.
South team win it by a long shot.
Yeah, they do have a bit more control. I guess I'll go with South team.
Okay. Okay, he believes in South team. I kind of want to go South team as well. It's a really tough one, because I definitely can see the G Pride lineup being really hard to kill.
Have a little humility.
Yeah,
They are fairly
that is
tanky.
true. At the same time, I'm worried about like G Pride heroes not being able to get in the damage, because they're playing against heroes like Lycan and Rubik and Wyvern. These are quite difficult to catch. And especially with a Kodal too, who just runs around with like infinite movement speed, blasting from a long range. Well, G Pride, they all kind of have to get in close. Like Ursa is just a melee carry that really needs to commit to initiations. You have Lesh who needs to be close. You have Underlord who wants to be close. And I feel like stacking together and being close is something that this South team lineup is really good at punishing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of a mixture. Both of the teams have a lot of like tight-knit fight coordination moves. I'm gonna go G Pride. I see that the Ursa wants to go Battle Fury, so they're looking at possibly a late game kind of situation. And when you go late game with an Ursa Lash, I still feel it's also a situation where the Ursa, you know, when he gets the shard into his items, he also becomes really hard to kill. Like, of course, he's going to have problems getting on top of his opponents, but he's also really rough to take down. And you also have the Underlord, which Fiend's Gate is on. This Fiend's Gate beats the Fiend's Gate previously, the Uber servers, by a long shot. The global TP is insanely OP.
That's definitely a nice change. I also love the Fiend's Gates into fountains and then enemy team following. It's just the best. It happens in pro games too, and it just cracks me up.
Yeah, it's just nasty. And also when you're like high ground sieging, where you can just TP back to base, all heal up, TP back in. It's a little bit insane in that regard. Bottom lane, G Pride waiting for South team to get a little bit antsy, which might be Monty on that Rubik. His spells, I mean, Rubik is definitely a hero that buys a shard, especially in this game against the Ursa. And if he gets the Split Earth Steel, it would be superb.
Yeah, Rubik's shard is just like a better foil staff. It's insane. Actually turns him into a saving support. Oh, Rubik does scout out the entirety of G Pride. This is slightly problematic.
Yeah, he
Nice
is
Split
very
Earth.
dead. Still goes to Tau to get his bottle faster.
Oh, that's a good start for G Pride.
Oh yeah, wait. Oh my god. This is Louise, the position 5. That was actually kind of funny. In no ping, their offlaner is also called Louise. So you had Louise versus Louise in the lane every single time. That was very confusing.
It doesn't matter what happens, Louise always wins.
Well, Louise definitely did dominate that game.
Yeah, I can imagine. So mid lane is gonna be excruciatingly boring because you have two int heroes just spamming their nukes, getting creeps. I'll make sure to watch the HP to make sure we don't miss any kills.
Good call,
most
because
part.
I'm gonna miss him otherwise.
Feel like we're mostly gonna see action on the side lanes.
Yeah, which
Any
lane do
lane
you
with
think
Ursa in
specifically?
it.
Do you
I
think
feel like bottom is gonna be the kill lane. Top is a bit more farmy. You have Underlord and Tiny, and both of these heroes don't really get a lot of kill potential until they get levels, and then only against squishy heroes. But everyone is tanky in this game. So interesting to me though that these Wind Rangers are picking up Shackle Shot level 1, using it as a trading tool as opposed to Power Shot, which is 150 damage, which is quite a lot.
But Shackle Shot's a 2-second stun, so not too bad. In that duration, you get 2 auto attacks in ish. Yeah, 1 each. Should be close to not 150.
There we
Wait,
go.
what? How does
Bottom
Domi
lane.
die first?
Magic.
I definitely thought that the Rubik would be the first one to die against an Ursa plus Treant lane.
Yeah, I would say that Rubik plus Lycan is definitely up there with the lanes with the least kill potential in the game. But you know, they make it work.
Especially against a Treant. Well, he doesn't actually have good armor, but he does have a lot of HP.
Maybe a Lycan just used his Quelling Blade and cut him down.
Well, definitely, hopefully not going to be the case. I do remember in Heroes of Newerth you could use your Quelling Blade as a range cutting tool, which was so neat. The last hit creeps.
Don't mention Heroes of Newerth.
I
I'm gonna
miss it.
cry.
So bad. Have you actually played the mod? The Heroes of Newerth mod? Where you could play like Nomad and stuff. in
I
Dota?
haven't yet, but for me it was mostly about the sound design. It was so good.
I just love the heroes. The heroes are still unbeatable.
But we're gonna get the great confluence soon, right? Right? Just let me get my copium.
I mean, it won't be that. The Han will be
Rangers?
disbanded
Oh.
soon. Oof, that's a big fat creep on top of Zexa. Second kill for South team so far. Not too bad on the laning so far for the Dire side. Mid, of course, you know, it's actually mid dropping low. James this is gonna get taken down by Tao. Nice kill secured by the Lesh.
And your spark.
You didn't even need me. Nice.
That was pure random that I was looking at mid because I just wanted to talk about the fact that they're both farming pretty nicely.
Especially now for Tao. Very nice kill there.
No good for you.
The 2 points in Lightning Storm, 2 in Split Earth. It's a lot of damage.
Oh, steals the water rune. No bottle refill coming in. The other one will be guarded by the Wind Ranger. The Tau should be able to pick it up. And he's gonna disco pony his way to some water.
Luckily, Kodal doesn't really care about dying or anything. He's gonna farm all the same.
He's got himself the Urn of Shadows early on. Gonna quickly go for the Spirit Vessels.
The radiant
After his
turret
bots,
is
of
now
course.
active.
Does he have some stacks already set up? No. But he is gonna steal away the Lesh stacks. To be an extra nuisance.
Kodal is just so incredibly efficient. He doesn't even need to be there to kill creeps. He just presses Q and creeps die. Quite surprised that Ursa isn't doing better in this lane. Like, it's not like he's doing poorly, but Lycan is getting a lot of space here. Just something I didn't expect.
Well, that's the Hermit Classic.
Eager to know Dire's whereabouts.
Dude's pretty good on that hero.
He
Are
doesn't
you a
have
good
a ton of
micro player?
CS. I would like to think so. Play a lot of Visage and Meepo and those kinds of heroes. But Lycan is pretty easy. Like in the early game, you get away with like using your hero and then all other units, and then later on you can micro the individual wolves and put like the move command on enemy heroes. And you have like moving wards as long as they don't have sentries. It's quite nice. Ooh, tree? Tree?
Ooh. Almost down, but now that means now is solo in the lane. He's gonna go for that Battle Fury and he's rushing it instead of finishing up the phase boots. Currently, Tao is doing a really good job in terms of net worth. Picks up the Invis rune as well, immediately heading forward, but they do have a nice observer ward there. And, well, he even broke it to grab that quick bounty rune. However, Tao is gonna get chased. Splinter Blast slows him down. He's gonna be forced to TP all the way back to base.
Okay. Pretty good for South there. But Tao does escape with his life. But look at Kodo, he's already caught up in net worth. It's so silly.
There it goes.
Yeah, especially if they make some stacks for him somewhere.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
Or he makes them for himself. Nice hero that can stack 3 camps at the same time. It's actually very easy as well to stack 3 camps if you're dire. Which is stupid.
Yeah.
I still hate this Radiant stack that Monty is standing next to, that camp. I always fail that stack.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah. I hate some of the new creeps as well, like the trolls and the ogres that have like these abilities that mess up stacks.
Oh yeah, where he summons the
frustrating.
skeletons and stuff. And you like,
Or like the
end up
big slam.
moving. Oh yeah,
Yep.
the big slam as well, fairly annoying.
And like they wait 5 seconds with it as well until you want to stack. Like you aggro them before just to make sure that you can actually stack them, and then they wait perfectly for the time when you have to stack. And the Ice Frog is just sitting behind his PC just laughing.
Yeah, it's a rough game, especially considering the patch did not really change anywhere close to enough that I wanted to see change. Like, I'm a Coddle spammer, and I really am getting sick of playing him, but he gets me so much free MMR. It's rough.
Oh yeah, the struggles.
I can't stop playing him now. Just nerf him.
Selling your soul for points. How do you feel?
It feels good. It feels very good.
You can run from me.
Wind Ranger. Actually, Tao is coming in from behind. Zexa, can he get taken down? James should be able to right-click him out, but Tao...
Living armor.
Luis
was
jukes
close.
his way through. And now Tao needs to be careful himself. Golden Rays heals him Luis up, and this is problematic. Tao with the TP attempt. Does he get away? Splinter Blast hits him. Luis gets the
in
kill.
base.
And that is also a TP wasted there. Great moves coming out, and a massive BM tips to boot.
That's the essay I know and love.
Gotta start tilting them. Ever so slightly.
Now James taking the stacks as well. This is so nice if he can get away with it. Nice shackle.
And
No
Chikala
follow-up.
running in. Does have Firestorm level 3. Luis is gonna fly up high. And Chikala doesn't have a point in the Pit of Malice at all. So we'll just get the TP to safety coming through. And yeah, indeed, James top net worth. Spirit Vessel's almost done after his bots that are already finished.
Yeah, the solo kill hardly mattered because Kodo almost has 50 more creeps. That does tend to make quite a difference. Now just TPing top, getting the defense in. And Underlord, interestingly enough, is rushing a Rod of Atos, so no tankiness item, just one stat control for his team. And I don't blame him, because we counted stuns and they have less.
Yep. He just needs to turn that also in, of course, the Gleipnir later on. It will never happen, but I'm still waiting for the moment where I see the Underlord with the Gleipnir.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get it this game. I feel like it's... If you have money for Gleipnir, it's probably better to just sell your Atos and get a Hex, but the idea is nice.
AoE root against the Lycan. What more do you want?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean,
And then
I
the
also
entire
still see Underlords, you know, getting the Basher. When does an Underlord use Basher? He used to have an attack speed talent. He doesn't anymore. And I still see people build a Basher on a hero that has like 1 attack per second.
Yeah, I remember all the Lincoln's first item off-lane Wind Rangers. Never understood that one either, but I guess it just feels nice. Speaking about things that feel nice, now is approaching his Battle Fury. So South team is leading by a little bit now, but that could change once Ursa finishes his farming item.
It's not a
Then again,
bad timing.
Look at the Tiny. He's closing in on a Moonshot.
Which is by far superior to an Echo Saber every single time. And it's not even close.
Yeah, especially once you get the shot, it just speeds up your farming so much. And the night vision. Oh, insane.
It's got everything you want for a Tiny. Vision, attack speed, that's it. That's like everything you want for a Tiny.
Apparently, yeah. Would Lycan is gonna be completely fine because the Wyvern is on his team. Just pressuring the tower, closing in on his Helm of the Overlord, and that's a big timing for a Lycan. Because those creeps with max movement speed are really scary.
Also really hard to kill. Ursa does have his Battle Fury finally done. So at the very least, that is a nice addition. He's going for the Blink Dagger immediately afterwards. So they're definitely looking for a possible early position fight on the side of G Pride. Even though he did go for the Battle Fury. Normally, when you go Battle Fury, you're not planning on taking any early engagements. But they have a lot of defense, high ground defense on G Pride. They have insane high ground defense, which is why their lineup really does work. If they get to a stage where they're going to be forced back.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we're gonna get to that point. Because South does take Roche pretty well. For now, it doesn't seem to be too close. Still, tier 1's up as well for G Pride. And of course, they have a Treant. But they would like to keep it that way.
Louise does have his level 6 now, so you could get some nice curses. There aren't great curses for South Team. Most of it's just set up so that the Tiny can get an Ava toss in, or the Kato can get a good Illuminate Blast. It's a lot of farming and very little action so far.
I wonder what these teams are waiting for. I guess both of them are quite confident in their mid game, I suppose. For G Pride, they probably want to wait for a BKB on both their Ursa as well as their Lesh. With South team, I guess they just want more. I don't think there is a super specific timing they're waiting on. Because Lycan doesn't really want to build a BKB. Is he a curse?
Takes a heap of damage thanks to that Spirit Vessel. Though Louise dropping very low. The Winter Wyvern's been taken care of. James is chasing for more, but a nice dodge from Tao. The overgrowth comes in. James is in trouble, and James is a goner. Tao stays alive. The heal is pretty nice. Level 3 living armor, and they keep their Lesh afloat.
Bit of an overextension there by South team. They got the nice curse to keep Tao in place, but they didn't really have the damage to finish him off. And James got Bloodlust and just ran in. Same time, Rena's still farming. And so is now. I wonder who's gonna win the farming battle. It's pretty close so far.
Rena will, of course, once he gets that shard, doesn't have to lose his 3 every single time, which is going to be a very big plus for the hero. Firestorm gets stolen. That is, yes, very close to one of the best spells that you can steal with that spell amplification on Rubik.
The cast range feels so good too. Now Hermit, he has his Ancient Granite Golem, so pressure on this bottom lane is gonna increase. Of course, G-Pride does have an Ursa. It's one of the best heroes at dealing with these big creeps. But they want more than just a big creep. They want Hermit.
They have root upon root upon root, and he is very quickly dead.
I doubt your kin will weep for
Yeah,
you.
very nice kill there.
The quick Uber service. The Fiend's Gate. I like that Fiend's Gate.
It's a nice spell. And now is leading the net worth. Closing in on his BKB. Pretty good game for this Ursa so far.
Poked out, needs to be careful. Avalanche, toss, and he is just gone. No way to survive against magic damage at this stage. Needs to get that BKB to be able to survive, even slightly, even though he didn't have a single moment to respond in that gank.
Is under attack. Dire should look to their bottom tower.
Went for a Eul's as well. Which you don't see every time on Lesh. The new Bloodstone is very good on him. Ooh, Luis needs to be careful. He's just gonna fall here.
Everyone's dying in different directions on the map.
Radiant should look to their top.
So now needs to be very careful as well, because there is a gang squad coming his direction. Lift up, Avalanche. He does get the enrage off just in the nick of time. And now with the TP coming in, that is Chikala on that big bad Underlord. It's going to be a little bit too sketch to fight underneath the tower with that massive atrophy aura.
Yeah, and Hermit no shapeshift either. Ooh, Rina gets himself a nice Quicksilver amulet. The attack speed is nice, but it's kind of hard to proc the cooldown. So you don't want to be spamming your spells on a hero with 600 max mana.
These do get chopped quickly. Living armor ain't going to be anywhere close enough to heal up your structures.
Radiant's top tower is Un's top tower is no more.
You see a smoke from G-Pride into the enemy triangle, but no one is here. I reckon they were looking for the Tiny, but he's in another castle, I'm afraid.
James could be a big catch here. Smoke gets broken. Jump up. Shackle shot. Oh, that Force Staff just barely keeps James alive. He's going to go for the TP attempt. Does he get away? No, he does not. The root from Chikala from behind coming in. The curse gets thrown out, but the curse doesn't do anything. Immediately gets taken care of. Rina is now in trouble. Chased by now, but now his enrage has ended. Can he get the kill in time? Nice set from Monty in the nick of
The
time.
power shot misses.
And Rina will eventually die because Tau does join in the fray, and this Lesh does not have much mana though. Speaking of which, the Lesh is in trouble. Nice shackle shot on Hermit. Yule Scepter keeps Tau alive, but he's going to get chased down by Hermit
Rubik's
further.
steals.
And he is done for. And indeed, Monty coming in, getting the snipes going out, and makes the damage happen for the side of South Team. Let's see how much damage he did. Just slightly less than the Lycan in that engagement.
That was a very enthusiastic dive by G-Pride, diving past the tier 2. But of course they did kill the enemy position 1 and 2. So it's not all bad, they just lost all of their 3 cores in the process.
Yeah, Wind Ranger.
Radiant have fortified their structures against
Look at Wind
attack.
Ranger's items. Urn, Blightstone, Magic Wand, and almost Shard.
Radiant's middle
No
tower
boots,
is no more.
no vessel.
It's good.
It's weird.
To be fair, Lycan also doesn't have boots and also doesn't have vessel.
That is very true. He does have a lot of other stuff that is very scary.
And he's queuing up an Aghanim shite. He's like, oh, I want to donate some extra gold to the enemy team. And I guess also push the lane.
Yeah, it's gonna turn pretty ugly once that Tiny's got his BKB finished up. And the Lesh, I think the Lesh came into the fight with like a third of his HP mana pool as well. Like he walked into the fight and his mana was just gone.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling the Lesh yet.
And neither is South Team. He's been struggling so far in the early portions of this game, while his early laning stage was actually pretty exceptional.
Just hasn't really been able to transition too well. mean, it makes sense without a BKB. It's quite a rough flash game, because there is so much slow and just burst damage.
Just get a shard. Just get the shard.
Who needs BKB? Just get the shard faster.
Yeah, and just stand in that little circle so that Lycan can't reach you. Easy. Value.
So that's how you do it.
What's going on, actually?
I was wondering the same.
Everyone's in the game. Okay.
Wait, time to go?
I guess so. The Coddle E-Blade, Aether Lens, Coddle's Octarine Core is so freaking good because you get permanent. Once you hit level 20, you get permanent uptime on Spirit Form.
Pretty decent.
Well, they're trying to get a gank onto Rina. However, there's a lot more heading their direction as well. Lycan does not have shapeshift for 30 seconds. Jump onto the Wyvern. Couldn't get the curse off. Now does need to be careful. He needs to pop his enrage and run away. Does run to safety? Question mark. The ancient black dragon is chasing him. James as well. He's in the pit. He's very much stuck. Trying to heal up, but he is dead. Overgrowth comes out. Chikala's going in. But there's the overgrowth stolen by Monty on that Rubik. Chikala is dead. Rina chucks forward, and that is going to be Roche in hands of South Team.
Really nice fight for them. I'm quite unsure about G-Pride walking up the high ground there and trying to take a fight. Especially so close to Roche. Was a calculated risk, but they may just be bad at math.
Yeah, that was a roughie. And Monty, I mean, he's one of the big difference makers so far for the side of South Team. He is doing a lot of work on that Rubik.
Yeah, it's been insane. The Overgrowth last fight, the Firestorm and Power Shot in the previous one. Feels like his positioning is just on point every single time. And he doesn't even have a blink. He's just doing this with regular old right-clicking and positioning.
Just walking in and hoping that that is going to be enough. Chikala. Well, he wants to keep his buildings alive. Firestorm will definitely help out in that regard.
He almost has a BKB, and then it's gonna be quite difficult to take him down.
You don't.
Because
That's a very dangerous position to stand.
ooh,
And lift
Yeah,
it,
the lift.
drag back, you don't need the overgrowth. It's still in the hands of the Rubik as well. Look at the damage onto the Rubik. Monty dropping low. That shackle is long range. Rina's about to lose his first life. However, turning it onto Chikala, the Underlord is dead.
BKB still in Korea, feels bad. And Rina's still alive. Never mind.
Finally
Nice
falters.
power shot.
I mean, Tao and now aren't even like there. They're just completely pushing the other two lanes out, farming up in the meantime.
We cannot understate the impact of the Lycan as well. It's not super noticeable, but he has so many auras and his howl, and he's just constantly there with his big creeps. Like, I feel like all of the damage he's doing is just from auras and creeps. I've seen him attack a hero maybe like twice in the game.
It looks fairly weird if you press on the Lycan and you see the swiftness aura. Movement speed increased by 0.
Seems good.
Guess because he's in the shapeshift form that you can't increase more than max movement speed, but looks weird. But yeah, a lot of auras, very rough. The Rubik really needed to die there, especially in that fight. I think he's probably your prime target to take down the two supports, to be fair. The Wyvern as well, very nasty if you get a good curse off. And the Cold Embrace being rough to break through, especially for the Ursa.
Yeah, and that is the downside of G-Pride. They have like 3 heroes that they need to focus first immediately. Otherwise they don't kill anyone. And it's about to get worse because Kodo almost finished his E-Blade. So you're gonna have to jump the Rubik, the Wyvern, and the Kodo simultaneously. And good luck with that one.
Ursa's next item is going to be what looks to be the Nullifier, which help possibly in that regard. But look at these buildings just chopping away. Shackle Shot at least stuns up the Tiny, but they're in a bit of a pickle. The Wyvern's on the side. He's looking for a good curse. Louise pops his head, quickly dips out. Buyback comes out from Zexa. There's the curse onto Tao. His BKB is being wasted. Now he's going deep. But now his BKB is in trouble as well. Hermit with the body blocks to keep the Lycan away. Oh my lord, Monty. Lift up, has another Firestorm available as well. On the backline, Chikala with his own BKB is trying to keep them occupied. Luis is dead, does buy back on the Wyvern. Still a very long run for the Wyvern to rejoin his teammates.
Don't mind if I do.
Just can't really kill anyone on G-Pride. Even with the Fiend's Gate behind, it's just so difficult. Like, they put in all of that effort and they kill Wyvern once.
Gold for me.
And that Wyvern was in the middle of their base as well.
Has to feel really frustrating. Now South is like, alright, you used spells, let's just go again.
BKBs should be up for G-Pride as well. Tau can TP in, which he's doing right now. The Rubes come out. The lift drag back. Monty, Rubik dropping low. Again, the Rubik's not dead yet, and that stolen Firestorm is doing tons of damage in these engagements. But the Hermit Shapeshift is just gonna be used to disengage on the side of South Team. Net worth-wise, they're not even that far ahead.
It's just a lineup thing. All of the net worth from Ursa is wasted if he can't get in range and hit people.
Oh, curse used by Louise. And slowly but surely dying. Yep. And that's a dieback on the Wyvern.
Dieback.
You merge with the
Dire's courier
impurities.
has been killed.
He can get himself like a cup of tea. It's quite nice when you die as a position 5 and you have such a long timer. Normally it's reserved for the coys.
Yeah, just always quickly buy back so that won't be an issue. Also, Tao is going for the Blink Dagger, which I kind of like because in this case you definitely need to kill off the Rubik every single time. I'm still missing the Shard for that high ground defense, which they have been doing the entire time, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's why they lost the set of range racks. Let's see if he gets it next.
Tiny does have his BKB, 9 seconds still available as well. So BKBs on G-Pride are slowly dwindling. Very slowly. I think they've all three used it only the singular time. Lycan's Ags is going to be a big buff though for Southseed once that's finally finished.
Yeah, for sure. I see a really speedy Tiny. Also Rubik finished himself a Yule, so that's another way to kite the Ursa.
Ursa really does not have a way of controlling the enemies until Shard's done on the Lesh. I think that's probably your best bet to... I mean, Chikala's doing a pretty decent job with his nice Pit of Malices and the Rod of Atos.
And now he's closing in on a Nullifier, and that's really gonna help too. Because it nullifies the E-Blade, but also all of the Force Staffs. It just doesn't do anything against both Cold Embrace and like tosses away.
Yeah, but
But still,
the
it's a
Yule
very
Scepter
nice
that the
item.
Rubik also has finished up and stuff. It's very useful because they have been constantly being saved by those Force Staffs.
The problem is he can still get disabled himself.
Yeah.
Like, even when he's enraged, a curse is still gonna be like 2.5 seconds. And that should be enough for most heroes to walk away. And then Nullifier is gonna run out and it's gonna be the same problem again. So I'm just not quite sure if it's gonna be enough, but we'll see. It's definitely a step in the right direction for G-Pride.
Domi trying to defend it right here, and it's very scary to stand to defend considering the positions of the entire South team lineup. Luis actually TP's in, but does not get spotted. Places a nice observer ward before he disengages beneath the tier 2 tower.
Finders, keepers.
And Yadomi did finish a blink, and that's gonna be quite nice. If he can blink in and get an overgrowth on the supports, it's gonna be really nice to set his team up.
Also against the Tiny, who has that BKB done, with the Lycan Shapeshift, which is almost finished. At least a way to deal with BKB targets on the opponent's side. .45, and then we see how long Roche respawn timer is. Chigala's actually going for the Octarine core on the Underlord.
Okay, I've seen this before. It's quite nice. Because Underlord is a very spellcast dependent hero. So having the shorter cooldown is nice, and also just the increased range, because all of his spells are short range. Well, aside from Fiend's Gate, but you know.
If you have Shard, do you have permanent uptime on Firestorm then?
I don't think so, but it's close.
Because it's 8 seconds, then you get 9 waves in 8, then it's 6 seconds, then you have 9 waves in 6 seconds time.
Oh yeah, could be.
And duration / interval reduction. Wait, is it then just faster?
Yeah, it's faster.
That's still gonna be pretty nutty. There we do have the bite on the Tiny charging forward. Yadomi is very, very dead.
Bonk. This is one scary wolf.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Lifesteal. What is it? He also gets crit, right?
Yep. Haste and crits with Wind Ranger. Feels pretty effortless. Oh.
What?
Luis? Ursa blinked away, and then out of frustration he just used the Winter's Curse on a creep. Well, the creep is dead, so mission accomplished.
True, that is very true. At least that creep won't harm him anymore. Nonetheless, Roche is about to respawn 15 seconds. They won't have the Wind Ranger for that engagement, if they even want to go for a fight, which currently I would assume that G-Pride is just going to try and focus on that high ground defense. And the Lesh will eventually get that shard. But he wants Sky Sange, because why would you get a shard for high ground defense? Why?
Yeah, it's useless. Who buys it?
And this right here, this is why I always get tilted when I see a Lesh pick.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have shard. He's losing. Coincidence?
I think not. There are some nasty internet issues or something going on in this game. Because we do have a decent amount of pauses so far. Next Roche is going to be a free shard. Who gets that free shard, actually? Wyvern? I think what? Maybe the Coddle, actually. Probably Coddle.
Yeah, I guess so. The free Splinter Blast isn't that strong until you get the level 25 talent.
Yeah, with the, well, 15 and the 20 talent. Then you just keep on splashing every single wave.
And like the 3-second stun if you time it right.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, and AoE, massive AoE, especially with the Splinter Blast shatter radius.
So let's see, any other notable item progression?
I guess Lycan's going for Albert?
Huh. Yeah, makes sense. More tools to kite the Ursa. Because that's really all they need to do. We spoke about G-Pride needing another scaling hero. And Lesh does scale, but he hasn't really felt too impactful this game. So it's still mostly a bear show.
Now Lesh is actually going for the E-Blade now, instead of the Kaya Sange.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know how I feel about. I'd rather see him just get Ags at that point. You're planning on going E-Blade anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
E-Blade feels more like it's going to be more to your detriment than to your advantage against a Coddle, and maybe it's decent. I guess it's decent against the Wyvern's Curse, probably. But I don't think that Curse has done anything this game.
Yeah, true. Wyvern is really not about the curse this game. But of course, it does help. It's kind of hard as a position 5 without any mobility item aside from a Force Staff and a Tumbler Story to get those juicy curses. Because you know you're gonna be priority number 1. But Roche is up and South team sees it. Just a bit hesitant for now to really engage, and they're gonna go for a smoke first.
Yeah, they scanned it. They know that they're smoked because they've got vision over the area. They have all the info they want. There's going to be a charge forward. There's Lycan in his Silver Edge form going forward. Yodomi is going to get caught. The Treant is very dead. Does not have a buyback available for the next 45 seconds. They are in the pit. Now he's waiting in the pit. He's actually going to jump out aggressively. And he's going to get cursed in the middle of his BKB. Nullifier has been used as well. I don't even know who he used it on, considering they're zipping all over the place. Hermit is going to get Cold Embrace on the side. Rina with the toss-up, but 1 kill off Zexa in the meantime. Now, though, his enrage has just ended, and this Ursa is very stuck and very dead.
They just kited him for so long, even with the Nullifier, with the BKB, with the enrage. There's just nothing he can do.
Yeah, he was, his teammates were also nowhere to be seen. It was a very weird position. They lost the Treant, and then he was like standing in the Roche pit, hoping that they could go for like one big fat wombo combo, but Tau can't do anything on this dash. Like, it's an extra at this stage.
Yeah, and it's not even like he's poor, it's just that he can't run in close because he just dies.
Buildings
And right now he can blink in and then die even faster. It's not ideal.
He's got the shard though. Value.
Oh, that's nice.
High ground defense. Let's go. He does need to toggle other stuff so that he doesn't give it away to the Rubik though.
Good Lycan using the cooldown reduction trick. Never mind, it died.
Get stunned. Creeps at least. Oh, Rina's gonna get stunned up. By the
Ooh,
Spitter.
BKB 5 seconds. It's gonna be enough. Down goes the second set of Rex. Actually, top is still alive. At least the melee Rex. Kodal does have the 25 now, so that's another 180 damage on the Illuminate. As if it wasn't hitting hard enough yet.
I was surprised. I always think the stun is also pretty neat to have.
Oh, Tau just blinks in and...
Overgrowth onto James. Can they kill him off? Oh, the Rubik with the lift back. James out of harm's way. Tau is in trouble. He doesn't have BKB available. Nice, good usage of that ward. Split Earth gets thrown out. Gotta spread it as much as possible. You don't retreat and will get blasted in the meantime.
Oh, more trees down. Shard value.
He does have the Wolf's Bite for Rina. And yeah, they're just gonna fall back.
This Tiny is unstoppable at this moment. Buildings are just melting.
He only has 3 kills as well. It's kind of baffling. Rina going in with the BKB. Chikala, look at that Underlord. The tankiness is completely gone. Now tries to jump in, but doesn't have a basher. Nullifier can't work against BKB targets. And that Lycan is... well, the Tiny is really hard to deal with. Though gets shackled for quite an extended amount of time. Is that the stolen Split Earth? Or... no, that's just their own Split Earth.
So many Split Earths.
I'm a little bit scared that it might happen, but there's an Overgrowth actually stolen by the Rubik. And Monty.
It's such a nice steal once again.
Now he's just dying. Rina might just lose the Aegis, and indeed it happens. Hermit charging forward. Louise got vision. Yadomi does get spotted. Has his blink overgrowth in a second. They still haven't secured Megas, but top melee Rax has been taken down in the meantime.
Yeah, it's that like and shot. The passive pushing. So strong. Actually, I am joking a little bit, but honestly, the shot now only giving 15 gold isn't that bad. Like, having a Rax means that your lanes push in, and just having that opens the map up so much. So you give a little bit of gold to the enemy team by pushing the creep waves closer to their base and giving like 15 extra gold per wave. But it opens up so much of the map that I believe it's a small economic advantage.
It's also kind of nice that Howl works on those wolves as well.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
For sure. And now it looks like G-Pride is going for
Rip
like
range
their
Rax.
last desperation smoke.
Like it's just backdooring.
Barracks are under attack.
Okay, they have like 10 seconds to get a good fight here before they lose Rax bottom.
This is the last hurrah. There's the stolen overgrowth coming in. Tao is in trouble. Splitter thrown out. He gets smacked. Winter's Curse keeps now inside his BKB. Controlled for a bit longer than he would like. And yeah, they don't have anything left. This should be the last fight. Coming forward. Toss up. Now Ursa is blown to smithereens. Shikala and Yadomi and Zaxa, they need to disengage, but the GG gets called. And in this situation, I have to concur. You, of course, Wingblade, were correct. The game played exactly how you expected it to play out.
Yep, I love how I was like, they picked Wyvern, so now we don't want to see an Ursa. And then they instantly pick Ursa, and he dies, or like they lose because their Ursa keeps getting kited. They have this big raid boss hero who just can't get in to hit. Just look at the damage done. I feel like it tells the story of the game. When your carry does the third least damage in the game, you know it probably wasn't the game for him.
Yep, definitely not having that much fun on the side of Gorilla's Pride, but at least we got to see the Leshrac shard, so that is one big juicy plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, this definitely was well, this was a roughie here for the Gorilla's Pride, who are now 1-0 behind against South Team, and you bet your ass that game 2 we're gonna see another one of those filthy offlaners being secured by South Team, and you're gonna have to deal with that split push constantly.
Yeah, nice game by Hermit. I am impressed by his playstyle. He plays the annoying heroes, but he plays them really safely from what I've seen now. He just sits back and he knows exactly how far he can go. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on his positioning again in the same team, or in the next game. And we'll see as well if Nal can do more damage than his Treant. So many questions to be answered next game.
But before they can get answered, we'll go towards a short break. We'll see you guys after the break for game number 2.